Harry's quiet return to Britain looked less like a family visit and more like a soft relaunch. Meghan's team appears to be leaning into a celebrity-style PR rhythm. Whispers of a festive feel-good special float through industry chatter, and the world is asking whether we're watching a careful rehabilitation in real time. And what happens if Harry enjoys the solo spotlight a little too much? For clarity, this is commentary drawn from public reporting and insider buzz. Some claims are disputed and unverified, and we present them as opinion. It's fair to say anyone working for the Sussexes has earned every penny. The revolving door headlines about staff churn have left their mark, partly because they feed a broader narrative. Two powerful personalities moving at two very different speeds. Harry's instincts were shaped by the slow, ceremonial rhythm of a 1,000-year institution. Meghan's by a Hollywood machine that rewards urgency, precision, and standout moments. Fans see a disciplined, detail-driven woman navigating unfair headwinds. Critics reach for labels like Diva Duchess. Whatever the lens, this is not a household on autopilot. It's a high-pressure production where values, messaging, and optics must land perfectly. Every time, because one raised eyebrow can travel faster than any official statement. That pressure amplifies small gestures, and nowhere was that clearer than the curtsy reenactment that refuses to die online. Perhaps meant as a self-deprecating nod to early awkwardness, it landed unevenly. Supporters recognized a human beat. Critics saw a jab at tradition, and, by extension, at a late monarch many remained deeply protective of. Sitting alongside her, Harry's silence became a Rorschach test. Restraint to some, discomfort to others. The lesson was brutal and simple. Authenticity is aspirational, but in a royal context, it must live alongside reverence for ritual. The monarchy is brand and history. Modernity is welcome. Mockery, or the suggestion of it, is not. Early on, the couple flirted with bypassing legacy media, direct dispatches, curated interviews, new gatekeepers. But monarchies are rituals wrapped in routine, and so is the British press. Over time, the strategy bent back toward a familiar dance: selective access, friendlier placements, careful leaks. The new communications talent excels in celebrity marketing, which is a different sport entirely. In entertainment, the mission is launch, spike, convert. Premiere the show, flood the zone, move the needle. Royal reputation is patient capital. It compounds slowly through consistency, service, and discretion. A sizzling campaign can dominate a week. A single misread royal moment can erase months of progress. That tension between sizzle and steadiness sits at the center of the Sussex challenge. When Harry popped back to the UK, the optics mattered more than the minutes. Even a brief audience with the king reads loudly in images. Tidy, well-paced charity moments signal reliability and humility. The clips were controlled, the tone measured, the choreography tight. It worked within the bubble. Outside the bubble, the true metric remains the temperature of the crowd. Organic warmth is hard to manufacture. Then came the solo operator notes, the envoy vibes, a light touch schedule that played to his strengths, and travel chatter framed in a way that suggested spousal sign-off comes first. A shape emerged. Harry, as a capable single actor who knows how to move through British institutions, while still anchored to a family life built in California. From there, the rumored plan writes itself. Harry explores selective duty. Meghan remains stateside to build brand and choose her moments. On paper, everyone wins. The monarchy gets a competent surrogate for safe engagements. Harry regains purpose and positive coverage. Meghan benefits from the reflected halo without the daily palace grind she never coveted. Yet the compromise carries risk. Duty without full accountability can read as transactional to traditionalists, and half-in can feel like half-hearted if the cadence isn't steady. The counter case is practical. If the work is consistent, apolitical, and genuinely useful, If veterans, volunteers, and community leaders vouch for the outcomes, the model might earn cautious acceptance. In royal life, repetition is redemption. Inevitably, comparisons to Catherine, Princess of Wales, hover like a watermark. Catherine plays an ultra-long game. Understatement, patience, institutional fluency, and an ability to absorb attention without making the moment about herself. Meghan, trained in a different arena, is more overtly expressive and brand-forward. Admirers call that refreshing. Detractors call it performative. Allegations about staff dynamics, embraced by critics, rejected by supporters, persist because they feed a larger conversation about two incompatible cultures: the monarchy's low-ego collaboration versus entertainment's reward for standout personality. The Sussexes keep getting graded on both scales at once, which would challenge even the most seasoned operators. Meanwhile, holiday programming beckons with a strategic opportunity. December craves comfort. Soft lighting, handwritten cards, familiar songs, and modest traditions. A warmly produced special that foregrounds community over celebrity could soften edges without reopening the wars of the Oprah era. The thread to walk is delicate. If it feels like branding first and heart second, UK audiences will clock it instantly. The safer path is old-fashioned and unflashy. Let other people be the heroes. A community choir rehearsing in a chilly hall, a food bank's busiest day of the year, volunteers doing the unglamorous work. If the couple can host rather than headline, the tone change will be audible. Tie any commerce to transparent givebacks and let independent voices do the vouching. While all of this swirls, William keeps his head down. Projects appear, quietly accumulate goodwill, and rarely detonate the discourse. Catherine remains the monarchy's human center of gravity. Warm, steady, unself-conscious. That steadiness creates a contrast the Sussexes can't entirely control. TV traditions like a carol concert become a seasonal barometer, and any competing holiday content will inevitably invite side-by-side comparisons. Tone, ratings, and, more importantly, the emotional aftertaste. The palace knows this calculus. In royal storytelling, stability outperforms spectacle over time. You don't win the year with a single viral week. You win the decade with a dependable rhythm. None of that negates a hard truth. The audience is the jury. PR can frame, but the rope line decides. A handshake that lingers, a laugh that escapes without prompting, a room that brightens because the energy is easy and unforced. Those are the tells. Sentiment splits by geography. American media rewards hustle and entrepreneurship. British audiences continue to weigh duty, continuity, and manners. Rehabilitation, if that's even the right word, won't be secured by a glossy special or one successful visit. It will look like a new habit: showing up, speaking less, doing more, and letting other people carry the testimonial. If that becomes the pattern, headlines follow the behavior, not the other way around. Looking ahead, three plausible paths keep circling the conversation. In the first, the envoy model works. Harry's selective engagements stay safe, sincere, and useful. And Meghan's stateside ventures mature into an elegant lifestyle orbit, with occasional joint moments that feel earned rather than engineered. The couple's public tone cools from spiky to steady. Critics lose oxygen. In the second, the PR balloon deflates. Audiences tire of what feels like theater without service, editorial goodwill things, and even sympathetic outlets drift to other shiny objects. Meghan's ventures thrive in the US, but the UK reception remains stubbornly cool. The half-in plan stalls because the public never bought the trade. In the third, incentives diverge quietly. Harry rediscovers the independence and purpose of a UK lane. Meghan's priorities remain American and entrepreneurial, and the brand splits into coordinated but distinct rooms. Not rupture, but an honest acknowledgement that one strategy cannot serve two very different careers indefinitely. If you're tracking the arc, the signals to watch are small and specific. Does Harry's UK calendar thicken with unglamorous work? Hospital wards on grey Tuesdays, regimental events out of season, charity site visits with no cameras until the end? Do fewer grand statements appear, replaced by third-party voices, service users, nurses, veterans, speaking about outcomes instead of promises? Do holiday segments gently reposition the couple as facilitators rather than protagonists? And most tellingly, do rope line clips feel less choreographed and more easy? When the beats become ordinary, the extraordinary story dies down. And that's the point. The Sussex narrative began as a blockbuster. Romance against the odds, culture clashes, exile, reinvention. Longevity, however, is an ensemble drama. It works when the camera spends more time on the community than the stars. Rehabilitation in royal life isn't a speech. It's a pattern that repeats until doubt grows bored. If Harry and Meghan truly pivot from grievance to graft, they'll feel the change before they see it in the headlines. The coming months, festive broadcasts, the texture of UK engagements, and who actually shows up, will reveal whether this was a one-off relaunch or the opening chapter of a steadier, wiser sequel.